All right. So anyway, so we are back in the studio after.
Is this? Are we recording?
Yeah, we are recording. Yeah, we are back in the studio after about several weeks out. Because before this, we were doing a couple of virtuals, right?
And then we had a couple of weeks off.
And now it is hot. The studio's hot. So
Yes.
if we sound a little bit different today, it's because we have the AC running here right now, and it's not going to be quite the same. But anyway, we just got back from Dallas.
Yes.
We spent 3 days. This was our first time recording.
We spent less than 3 days. We were there like 24 hours.
24 hours in Dallas.
We spent more time on the plane and on the airport.
Tell us about your flight.
Terrible. 14 hours to get to Dallas, and then 10, 11 hours to get home from Dallas. And we only spent, a day in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Dallas.
Less
than a day.
Yeah.
because we slept half of it.
But we do what we normally do. We did an escape room while we were there in Dallas. We did an escape room. What was the theme of this escape room?
Narcos.
Yeah.
Drug
dealer.
We're in Colombia. Had to escape the drug lord's house.
This one was not too bad.
It was hard.
It was hard.
Did we get hints?
We got so many hints. What do you mean?
We had like 4 hints. Like
No.
No.
We had more than 4
No,
hints.
You could either ask for a hint, or she would see you in
she's
the
like,
general
did you do
area, and then
this?
she'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
So she kept giving
it
us
was like
hints.
4 hints.
No, it was a lot more than that.
Lies.
There were some parts of it I think were a little convoluted. Like none of it made any sense.
It didn't make sense. Yep. One didn't lead to next
thing.
Yep.
Or it was just like
and then
hard
what?
to make the connection between things.
Overall, from a set design standpoint, I give it like an A minus. But from a puzzle standpoint, I give it like a B plus.
Yeah.
B plus A minus.
It wasn't our best.
Yeah.
Also, we were down 2 players because there's normally 6 of us. It was the first time we did 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit harder.
If you're listening, Moses, we did not do an escape room.
He's definitely listening. Yeah. All right. So we did an escape room, and then we had some barbecues. We had some Texas barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. And then we hung out with our good
Friend
friend
in Gikoto.
At Gikoto.
Recorded.
Trio.
Should we talk about that night?
Yeah. You want to talk about it, Ben?
It was the longest recording we've ever had in our life. We recorded for like 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
And then what happened?
And you guys drank a lot of tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah, we finished 2 bottles and we continued with a 3rd bottle in the pantry.
Yeah.
The only thing
And
we're going to
you
say...
guys drank like half of that 3rd bottle.
Yes.
I had like maybe a sip or 2. That was.
I had none of it. I
I
had
don't-
one little sip of the whole
Jen
night.
was the weakest
I
link.
was not. You know what? I'm
Yeah,
not
like
even.
1.5,
Tequila's
I
not
think.
my strong point.
She
I'm
had
not going to
1.5
try and match
shots.
anybody.
Yeah.
Not doing
I
it.
think I had 8 glasses of tequila.
You know what it was? I was fine until I had the crackers. He gave me crackers in the pantry, and that's what did me in. Because I was fine at the end of the recording.
I gave it to him.
It was the crackers. That's what usually happens.
What?
Like, you're fine 1 minute, the next
Yeah.
minute you start the
No,
whole world
it
is starting to unravel.
It was you trying to keep up with Hiram.
Oh yeah.
I
Yes.
was keeping up with
I,
him.
Yeah.
I think once you told him
Oh, yeah. He
that
wanted
I'm
to.
trying to keep up with you.
he went fast.
Oh yeah. He had like a chip on his
Oh,
shoulder.
yeah.
To like this fucking thinks he
Yeah,
can keep up with me.
and then he would finish his cup. He had this bit, and he would finish. You would have this much, and you were like, "Want to try it?"
You just can't keep up with the Mexican who drinks
Yeah,
tequila on
all
a regular
the
basis.
time.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
It was a good time.
That was the most tequila I've ever consumed in my life.
I had so much heartburn
could
the next
tell.
morning. Oh my god! I feel like I was having a heart attack. Like more
I
heartburn.
don't think,
So we do have, me and Ro, we have a way to get subscribers and listeners moving forward.
Oh, yes, tell
So
them.
like, for everyone who clicks subscribe to our YouTube channel or follows our account on Spotify, we will send you behind the scenes footage of what happened that night
Oh, no!
at the Geek headquarters.
I told you there's all
Our
the
subscription
videos.
plan, a subscription plan of we can see what
If
happened
you
with Ben
wanna-
Lau.
Yeah, what happened to Ben Lau in Dallas? And I think Hiram has the whole security camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have.
He was having a blast.
yeah,
was
you guys
loving
had
that every
anyway. I
moment.
am done with tequila for a while. I'm gonna go easy on that for a little while.
Yeah.
And,
Next time we're doing bourbon.
I don't like to do bourbon, but it was a nice trip, and we want to give a shout out to the Gikoto family for hosting us,
yes.
taking us out to eat, and showing us a good time in the West Coast.
Yeah.
That's not the West Coast.
Is it the West Coast?
Like
No?
Midwest.
It's the
Yeah,
Midwest.
Midwest.
It's not even Midwest. It's like
Midwest.
down south. Whatever.
Midwest,
Yeah.
south.
Southwest.
He doesn't know where he is. Yeah, I remember. There was a speech that the father of the groom made. You know how sometimes parents, when they thank everyone for coming, hey, I want to thank all of our extended family that came from the East Coast, West Coast, North Coast, South Coast. I was like, and I made my camera. I was like,
the Canada, Canada.
He's like, did I stutter? I said North Coast. I was like, okay.
Gotta love Dad.
I was like, okay, whatever. I'm minding my own business. I'm here to take pictures, not to have opinions. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we're back in the studio, and I don't know how to segue into our. Okay. Let me see here. Did you guys shoot this weekend?
We did.
We did. Yeah. We had a just one wedding, and
why am I blanking on where we were?
What do you mean? You don't remember?
You had the bad experience.
Oh, you had the bad experience.
No. We were at
this was the bride who didn't show up till 30 minutes later or an hour later.
Valley
and then
Regency.
And then someone had
she had a panic attack.
And the band and the DJ went in a fight.
Oh, this is a great segment to work.
Shit, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's talk about your wedding.
We had a wedding at the Valley. Great couple. Nothing too much with the bride. She just had a panic attack before we got there.
It happens. I've seen that plenty of times. Yeah.
Had a Xanax. She was good after. There was a planner on site. She was great, but she definitely had a challenge on her when the DJ and the band were ready to.
They were at the fist fight.
They were 2 seconds away from just beating the shit out of each other.
DJ and
the band.
They were separate or together?
Yeah, so this was an Armenian and Egyptian wedding, but they wanted an Armenian. The bride wanted an Armenian band, so they hired both because when the band is not playing, they also want like Egyptian music playing
and American music.
Hip-hop.
Yeah.
So the DJ shows up later. The band had already set up, and they took the whole area. So he had like a little corner on the
corner
on
next to
side.
the Valley Regency has like
Where the
alcove
doors open
for the DJ.
She's
the
never been
band
there.
took it over.
Okay.
And then the doors were right here.
And then
so they gave the
he was there.
the DJ that little
tiny little space
spot next to the door.
So he's just watching them do sound check and just like staring at them with his arms crossed. Doesn't say anything. He's just like staring at them, and then all of a sudden he goes, "You guys got to give me space." And the band was like, it's not enough space for you. And he was like, no. He's like, like I'm right at the end of the freaking door, like and I still have to set up my facade and all this stuff.
Sure.
And they were like, well, we're the band, we're the focal point of the wedding.
Oh no!
Right?
Oh no!
So he was like, I don't understand why you want to be in front of us. He was like, I'm not saying I want to be in front of you, but I should be with you guys, like in the back or something, like and then you guys are around me. And they were like, no, we're not doing that. Like
the band's at fault here.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like me and Jen were in the room, and they just started like cursing each other out. They were in each other's face, like about to beat the shit out of each other.
Also, if we get to like 200 subscribers, Jen also has video of this.
I have audio. And then I had my Ray-Bans on, and Ro was like, "Why didn't you record?" I just forgot I had my Ray-Bans on. I could have like recorded them without them knowing, but it was the DJ was a very big hothead, and he just like started cursing them out. Now
he was like in the guy's face, and the guy wasn't scared. He was like, whatever. He was like, you're not gonna do nothing. Like, it's like we're here for a wedding, right? Like he was like, just deal with it. And he was like, no. He was like, I should be right with you guys. Are you fucking kidding me? And he's just like, so the maitre d' comes in, like scolds them like they were children. As soon as the maitre d' leaves, they're about to beat the shit out of each other again. And this time I'm like sort of like in the middle, but I'm like,
are you trying to make peace?
No, my light stand was in the way.
Not physically in the middle. His gear's in the middle.
Let me remove this.
So I grabbed my light stand and I was like, you know what? You guys want to kill each other? Go ahead.
Yeah.
One of the band members was like, could you believe this? And I was like, well, at the end of the day, I told him like, I understand there's some differences, right?
Yeah.
I was like, we're here for one purpose. And we're here to make one couple happy.
Right.
We should be professional about it, right?
Right.
And he just giggled and just kept. And after that, they were just like messing with him to piss him off.
The band leader?
Yeah. They were just like, saying stuff to like piss him off even more.
Yeah.
The planner finally came. They were fighting again. She told them if they don't work it out, one of them has to leave.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're best friends.
After the ceremony, we come back in. The DJ's in the middle. The band's around him.
Oh my god.
He's like recording video for their social media throughout the night. He's like jamming to their music.
Crazy shit I ever seen.
They were chatting it up during dinner.
I don't get it. Why?
What is the point?
I don't know.
Yeah. So thank you for the planner for coming in to handle that situation.
So this is one situation where we do welcome the expertise and the services and what's the word I'm looking for? for, and
Experience.
and the experience, and your role as a planner when they're a part of the wedding day, because we don't always get planners, and I would say that 8 times out of 10 they don't really do much for us. But in your case, it looks like the planner came by and saved the day, and that's what we want. That's the role of the planner, to kind of like help us not have to deal with those issues. And it's not just for us; it's also for the for the couples as well. You know, they're there to make the couple's life a little easier.
Yeah.
And just I think a side part of that is to make sure that all the vendors are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and just that kind of stuff. And I could be corrected later on in about 5 minutes. So anyway, I think this is a good segue for today's episode. You guys ready to get this podcast started?
We are. Let's do it.
All right. All right, guys, welcome to the Focus AF podcast. My name is Ben.
I'm Karis.
It's Jen.
And this is Ro.
And today we are Focused AF.
Yes.
Because I haven't started drinking yet.
No, we're good. We're good.
I've had 3 ounces so far. But
Yeah, we are good. So today we have a very special guest. This is someone who I think I met today.
Yes.
But you guys why don't you guys introduce our guest today?
So we have Kelly from Gifted Events here in New Jersey. Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Welcome to the podcast.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
You are our first planner.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
And look at Kelly. She looks fabulous.
Yes.
She's the best dressed guest.
Yes. Karis appreciates good fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry for that, though. You're not coming back to redo it with a new suit on. But thank you so much for joining us and for looking so nice.
Thanks, guys.
So we'd love to start off with just hearing about you, your background, planning, and kind of where things are right now.
Yeah, so my company is Gifted Events. We are North Jersey based, but we've started doing destination weddings now, which is super exciting because I've always had a passion for travel, and I just want to, continue to grow professionally, but also, explore different areas and produce incredible weddings in different locations.
That's
So
awesome.
I've been in the business for 7 to 8 years now. I actually only went full-time end of 2019.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect time.
Yeah, it was
Surprise. There was a big surprise. Man.
Yeah, there was a little surprise waiting in store called COVID. So that was tough. But once, we got through that, I was like, okay, this is what I meant to do. I meant to be here. And it's been growing, thank God, successfully ever since. So it is my passion. It is my livelihood. I absolutely love what I do. I have a team with me. They're also incredible. We do wedding planning. We also do wedding coordination, and all of the above. Wedding planning, design, you name it, we do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the coolest destination? I'm sure you're gonna ask this all the time. What are some of the coolest destinations that you've done work in?
So far, the coolest one I would say was Miami in March. We were at Faena, which is an incredible 5-star hotel. And they have actually a forum across the street, and that's where we produced this incredible wedding. We transformed the venue.
Wow.
It was destination for the clients and all of their guests. So that was really cool, a little bit challenging logistic-wise. But a lot of fun. And now we are planning for Aruba and Mexico and a little bit more of Florida. Yeah.
It's so windy in Aruba.
That's what I've heard.
It's so
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't remember.
It's very windy.
Yeah.
remember this.
We were there in
windy.
December, and it was just like,
Yeah.
we were saying, like, we would love to
December.
shoot a wedding, and then we're like, I
And
don't
then
know, it's
every
windy.
day it was like, I'm like, oh my God, it'll be
When we
So be
so
prepared.
hard.
nice.
Be prepared for
But
some wind.
it's always, most of the
Really?
time it's windy there, yeah.
To do a lot of your destinations there, are they Jersey people that get married out?
Yep, exactly. We actually have clients from all over the West Coast. I've had clients in Canada, Chicago, you name it, all over
Shout
the
out to the
country.
North Coast.
And the South Coast, Miami.
Awesome.
Yeah, they just want something different,
Yeah.
and they want it to be an experience. So their guests get to travel. They make a wedding week or weekend out of it. And I think that's a lot of fun to plan too. You can get really creative.
Yeah.
Are you bringing? Are they hiring local photographers, or are they bringing them from bringing them with them to bring the photographers with
So we do a little bit of both. Actually, it depends on the budget. Can the client allocate their budget in order to pay for the expenses, right, of travel, or if there's a daily fee that a vendor incurs, hotel, right, accommodations.
Yeah.
So it's really dependent on the budget. But that's our job as a planner, to try and work with that budget and to really emphasize the importance of certain vendors, right? And photography is definitely up there. Yeah.
That's one of the. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I feel like sometimes when people have like a grander affair, or like are really heavy on like decor, design, like more of the aesthetic, then it comes to like the people who capture the aesthetic. They're like, I don't have a budget for it. Find me a photographer for $2,000.
Right,
You're like,
right.
Absolutely
but
not.
no.
Yeah.
That's not how we operate. Just because there is a lot of creativity in design, it's a process. It's almost never ending up until the wedding, that we want to make sure your day is beautifully captured, the emotion, but also the aesthetic, the design, down to the smallest details on the table. These were all very well thought out. That is the reason why people hire a planner. They want something different. They want to personalize their wedding, customize it, and we're going to pitch them so many ideas. And some we run with, some we throw in the garbage, and that's fine. We're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah. How many weddings a year? Because for you, like you're working more long term with couples than we are. We're just kind of like pre-wedding, wedding, and then maybe a little bit after. But you have so much pre-wedding work. How many weddings do you guys do a year?
So at some point, we were doing up to 70 plus weddings a year. What? Yeah.
I was going to give you a low number.
She's gonna be like 20 or something, right? 15
She's
or
got
20.
you got like good like 4 or 5 team, right?
Yeah,
Or,
well,
ladies.
we're at like 8+ now, but
Wow.
Oh,
we've
wow.
really scaled back because we've taken on more planning. I used to do a lot more coordination.
Okay, yeah.
And that's an easy turnaround. That's like 4 to 6 weeks out. The wedding day is there, boom, done. A planning is though very much like in-depth process. It takes a lot of time. I have planned in 5 to 6 months, but my sweet spot is about a year and a half. I think that's a good amount of time to plan a wedding. So now we're down to 40 to 50, but I do want to keep continuing to scale back. The budgets are increasing. We have a lot more production involved.
Yeah.
So at some weddings, there's 20 plus vendors, and it is a lot to manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a planner, designer friend of ours, we were comparing like how many hours we spend on a client, and from a like photographer perspective, I think we were doing 25 to 30 hours, like from start to finish, consultation, editing, shooting the wedding. I think she was at like 80 hours
Yeah.
per client. Like that's 3 times the amount that we're spending with our clients. So you can imagine like how much more work is involved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. And
It
like
is.
time is money. You're making this investment, yes, but that's because we are spending a lot of time trying to make sure the details are perfect.
Yeah. And there's a lot more decision making on your end for them, and like
Yes.
incorporating all these vendors, details, design, decor.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot of moving parts.
A lot. Yep.
And then dealing with personalities, like
Yes.
what we just experienced, that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It's a lot of vendors and family dynamics, right? That comes into play. Sometimes moms are very involved, sometimes not so much.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
My type.
you know the moms.
I attract those types.
Ben
Yeah.
loves mom.
We
The
love
moms
moms.
love me.
From our experience, like we don't deal much with parents, but when we do, there is a planner involved,
Yeah.
right? You notice that? Like
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so the mom is running the show
Um,
behind the scenes.
Yes and no. I don't get. It's occasional. It's very rare I get a planner. So let's just a round number. Let's say I do like 40 weddings a year, and I would say maybe 5 of them have planners.
Oh, wow.
5 to 7 of them have planners. The rest, it's I wouldn't say mom's running the show. Maybe out of those 40, I think mom's running the show maybe 5 of those.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
lot.
five. Oh, about the same as planners.
I have one. Oh my God, I'm dreading it. Mom and dad.
Are running the show.
running the
I get a
show.
lot of mom and dads running the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're paying for the thing. So
Yeah. But to me, it's like, then are you really enjoying it?
Right.
Part of why we're hired, whether we coordinate or plan the entire event, is so you guys get like that day off. Yes, they're still very involved. There's still a lot to do. Hair, makeup, photos,
Right,
this
right.
and that. but like we want you to enjoy it. And I don't think they're fully, there if they're trying to manage every moving part of the day.
I like what you said before, which is a segue into kind of like where things are currently. You said budgets are getting higher. So where are you saying now on your end as a planner as far as like weddings, where things are going, how you see it from your perspective, I guess?
So a lot of the clients that we take on, we do require them to have a certain minimum when it comes to, booking their wedding, just because we know all of the costs involved, right? We've seen everything. You name a vendor, we know kind of where the range is at. And it also depends on the location, right? A wedding in Miami is very expensive, just like a wedding in Manhattan or New Jersey. So we're in that mecca of weddings, I would say, in this area, right?
Prime.
Where they're very high. So I can know what to expect, based on the guest count. I would say that what I'm seeing now is budgets, they're at a good number. They're a little harder to push at times, but we just try to manage our clients' expectations, right? I know a lot of stuff looks really cool on TikTok and Instagram, Pinterest.
You must get so many requests of like, I want this.
Yeah.
And you're like,
That's going to cost $6,000. I don't
Right.
want it anymore.
So our job is to educate and really manage those expectations and also offer them alternative options, right? I don't want to crush your dreams. I just want to manage them.
Right.
And I want to give you options. That's what we're here for. That's why you hired us. But I will say it's been a little bit tougher for clients to make decisions. They're taking more time on their decisions. So on each investment, that is definitely what we've been seeing this past year.
Yes.
how they been with that with like their major vendors?
Yes.
Yeah, we've all been saying.
Yeah,
Overall, across
They'll come
the
back 3 months
whole-
later. I'm ready to
Exactly.
the book. Like, I don't even know who you are.
What are we talking about?
But what we've also noticed, at least for me and Karis, they're also booking on a much shorter timeline as well.
we're
Yes.
getting a lot of last
Because
minute.
our pre-COVID, our normal booking period was anywhere between 12 to 18 months.
Yes.
Right? And that was normal for us. Like these past 2 months, we've been booking 4 to 6 months out.
3 months, 6 months.
Yes.
So are you experiencing that as well?
Yes. And it's risky. I'm like,
Yes.
how do you know anyone is going to be available? But, another trend.
Photographers are available. I know.
Well, I've seen in the market.
them.
Yeah, I've seen in the market too. We're a little slower than we've been,
Oh, yeah.
right? So we do have more
across, yeah.
availability.
Yes,
And I think that's why they're kind of going that route. I have a wedding next weekend. They actually just booked us a month out from the wedding.
Wow.
So again, we came on very last minute, and now we're playing catch up and we're trying to organize all these details. But they still are thinking of booking a live painter. So the wedding's next weekend. So let's see who's available. Decisions like
But I
that.
think if they are able to book the venue such a short notice, I think they are thinking it may be okay to find other vendors
A short
are
notice.
going to be
Yeah.
available. Because venues are first.
It just
ones to go.
it trickles down.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, oh, they have availability at venues, so we'll book it and find other vendors.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's the trend that I'm seeing. Also, I'm having conversations with a lot of venues, not so much with the planners as much, right? But definitely with a lot of venues. I would say maybe 70 or 80% of them. They're telling me it's a slightly off year. It's a little lower value than normal. Then there are other venues. I'll name drop them. Corona Farms is one. Rock Island is another one. David's Country. They're just having tours, like just non-stop, right? So,
But also, we just spoke. I'm not going to mention the venue. We just spoke with the owner of a venue, and they told us that yes, they're doing tours, but kind of like what Kelly said, they're taking longer to decide to book the venues. So they're a little bit lower this year, but they're still meeting couples, but they're working harder for the bookings too. So even though it might, from an outside perspective, it might look like work is coming in and they're booking, but they might be working just as hard as we are to get those bookings. And that's what the venue owner was telling me and Jen.
Selling like a venue is like a product, right? You show what you have, and they like it, they book it. It's like a product. But us, like service selling people, I think it's harder.
Yeah.
More harder. Yep. I was
One
just
of
having
the
this conversation.
other things that this person mentioned was that, multiple visits for the same person coming to see the venue multiple times
I've heard this.
wasn't common, right? Like you see it once, you book it, cool. now the people that are booking are coming to see it multiple times before they actually are committing to booking.
When you
You're
guys got
here again?
All right, well,
like,
wait,
like, I'm talking about 3 to 4 times.
when you
Yeah.
guys got married, how many venue site visits did you do?
we
one.
did one.
Just
Wow.
you booked the first place you saw.
Both times, yeah. Both
Yeah.
times.
To
But
each
I'm
other.
I'm a very quick decision maker. I don't
Me too.
like
You only did one visit too.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I'm
like
saying, yeah.
see many options.
like it,
if
you
I like
like
it, I
it.
just
Yeah,
book
At the
it.
Can we
price
make
that
this
fits
work?
what we're
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
for,
Yeah.
and if it checks off most of the
Our
boxes.
wedding planning was very easy. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, we took 2 years to plan our wedding.
Yeah.
We
too-
ate
yeah,
ramen and
engagement.
eggs, and I think that was it for 2 years to pay for this thing.
Are you going on site
Nice.
visits with
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I operate similarly. I don't like to give them too many options. We narrow that down.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. It gets confusing sometimes. So we try to narrow down the best choices for them. And we'll make the decision together.
Have you ever? Do you know what the hardest client? Maybe it might apply to you too, right? The hardest clients that we get are the ones that like, we trust you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll trust you. Whatever you want to do, we'll be good for it, right? And I'm like, no, you got to give me something.
Yeah, it's a lot of trust.
Oh yeah.
No, please tell me what you want.
Yeah.
Really want. No, I trust you. You're the creative. You're the artist. No. Tell me,
Yeah.
like, what do you want? I mean, do you get that sometimes?
I do, and I'm like, I need a little bit more. Like, I would love to make all the decisions for you, but it's not
Right.
my wedding at the end
Yeah.
of the day. It's
Yeah.
yours, and I want to make sure you're happy with every single aspect of it. Or else, to me, it's I failed a little bit. So, I want that feedback in the end. That's the best day ever.
Yeah.
It's nothing is more satisfying. Yeah.
What are you seeing when you go on site visits? What are couples usually looking for? It's like priority for them
So after the venue.
during like a site visit as they're searching for a venue. Yeah.
So it depends if the client is looking for, accommodations on site or even nearby. That's a big question. If there's more than one wedding a day, that's also a big question. It does come down to pricing, but of course, everything that's offered. If there's a venue offering everything under the sun and pricing is a little higher, they'll tend to go that way because they know they're getting their money's worth.
Are you mainly dealing with couples directly, or
Yes.
are there like parents involved sometimes?
In the past, there have been, usually moms that are very involved. And I love moms, they love me, but we've tried to limit that a great
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
because, again, there's a lot of opinions. It's harder to make decisions that way. And then I have found that, couples, feel like they need to compromise a little bit more
Yes.
when there's a parent, very heavily involved.
Definitely.
Yeah, I get a lot of
Yep,
those.
yep.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, this might be a 3-hour therapy session. For me. Oh, gosh.
Ben may cry.
I'm just trying to be the best.
I did my best, Mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it becomes like the parents' wedding, and it's like
Yeah.
And it actually,
That happens sometimes.
Yes.
a lot of I feel like a lot of times when the wedding, at least a lot of the weddings that I shoot, it is for the parents, more for the parents than it is for the couple sometimes.
Yeah, that makes me a little sad because
Too, yep.
I feel like when moms were, again, heavily involved, the couple, usually the bride, because that's who I work with the most, right? They tend to get a little bit defeated and they like give in. They're like, it's whatever she wants
Yeah.
or whatever she says. And I'm like,
Had a few of those.
but
Yeah.
it's your wedding, I want you to be excited about this.
Yeah.
And happy with the decision.
Yeah.
I think the best is when you throw a parent under the bus.
What?
Like they go.
Just kill him?
No. For example, like sometimes the parents operate behind the scenes without the couple knowing, right?
Yes.
And they'll come to a vendor and tell
Yes.
you, "Oh, I don't want this," right? And then sometimes it's nice to throw them under the bus and reach out to your client and say, "Hey, your mom or your reached out to me. Is that something you want?" And then that's when they get, "Oh, no, I'll handle this,"
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Actually,
And we've done that in the past.
and that's exactly what I
Yeah.
did, and I got an even more scathing letter from the email
my
from the mom.
gosh.
And I never read it. I don't even know what's in. Did you guys ever read the second
No,
one?
we haven't.
we
read-
wanted to. We
I think
wanted
it's
to.
just me and Abby.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a story, right? There's no. There's nothing legal going on here. All right.
No.
So for this particular wedding, the mom was very hands-on from start to finish. Basically, she's like, don't even talk to the bride. I'm going to handle everything. Just all your communications, all your communications, run it through me and everything. But I was like, well, the bride is my client. I still need to meet with, like, the mom was ready to book with me.
Yes.
Right off. I was like, I still got to meet with the client. I don't even know if your daughter likes me or not. We got to the wedding day, and the mom had a shot list that was a mile long, right? And I think I got most of it, right? And then I missed an item. It was the daughter-in-law. She had blacked out time for the family photos, right? And actually, there was a bike race in Jersey City that day, right? She's like, make sure you show up an hour early, and just to make sure you're on time, and make sure you park here. I'm like, oh my God, this lady's telling me where to park too, and everything, right? This is who I'm dealing
She
with.
put it in Google Maps. Like,
She did.
She actually had a
Oh my God.
So anyway,
she had an Apple tag in her car.
so during family photo time, certain family members were not there, right? I was like, this is the time that we budgeted for family photos. I was like, and I actually told the brother, I was like, listen, your wife's not here. Just come find me later, and I'll get a picture, right? He never did. Right. The thing is, you're going to give me such a hard time about the timing and the timeline and everything, right? Why couldn't you give this timeline to your daughter-in-law who should have been there during family photo time?
Yep.
Right.
So anyway, she ripped me a new one for that. And then there weren't enough pictures of mom, because the gallery was gorgeous. All right. But she's like, oh, where are the pictures of me and my entrance and stuff? Well, you were hiding behind, like, where I was standing. Dad was in front of me, and then she's on the other side of that, right? Okay. And I had a video team on the other side, and then she hired these lighting people who did not light it properly. There was a bunch of teenagers with, like, spotlights and stuff, right?
What the hell?
And she spent $2,000 on that. You could give me $2,000, I'll light it up for you properly, So, but in any case, she was upset, number one, mostly because there weren't enough photos of her, right? And she tried to nail me for not having enough photos of the daughter-in-law.
That was a missed opportunity for you. Like, I actually offer mom sessions, at post-wedding.
Anyway, everyone loved the photos. And in fact, I think she may have gotten her daughter to write the review. I got a 4.9.
That's pretty good.
No,
I'll
from her.
take that.
Not overall. Overall, I'm still 5 stars, right? But, like, from her, she's like, oh, well, the photographer should have gotten my sister-in-law. I was like, come on, man. All right. So anyway, why did I bring this up? Oh, dealing with moms.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
The micromanaging for me.
Yeah.
it makes things very hard for all of us vendors.
But going forward, you should kind of like tell
nip
them
it in the bud.
Yeah.
I do tell people. I do tell the couples when they come on with me, right? I say, listen, this contract is between me and you.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to take really good care of mom. I'm going to take good care of your friends and your family.
Don't
and
even
the
say
corner.
I'm going to take
No.
care of
Listen. If mom wants photos with all her uncles and her aunts and her sisters and stuff, I have a second shooter for that, right? But my responsibility to you on that day is the two of you, okay? But there's two of us.
but I think you need to add more of
I'm only going to talk to you.
candid documentary style of approach, because that's most, like I tell them, most of day is fully documentary. I don't bother you. Like, and all my clients love that
establishing
the boundaries.
from the from the moment. Like, this is my style. I don't come bother you unless you come asking for certain photos.
Jen tells them that too.
But only time is, like, obviously family photos. But if people are missing at that time, they're totally fine. They're like, yeah, I don't want you being have to gather those people or even responsible for those shots.
So I think this is an opportunity, all the suffering that I've endured in the last year and a half, 2 years, right? I think the lesson that we can learn is that I need to kind of not necessarily shift my marketing message, but maybe in my communication, right? Like, I used to be like, all right, well, these guys know what my brand is all about, what my product looks like and stuff, but I don't think there's enough communication as to, like, how I get there, right?
Yeah.
So if I can over communicate, hey, listen, this is my process, this is how I do things,
Right.
And I set those boundaries, I can manage those expectations a little better. Because like the thing is, I talk to them about 12 to 18 months out from their wedding. They're not going to remember everything I share with them from the day out, right? So what I'm putting into place now, this year, what I'm working on is I'm just going to give them multiple touch points throughout the year, maybe a couple times a month. I don't care. If you think that I'm spamming you, then all right, fine. It's not my problem then. But I'm sending you 100 emails from now until your wedding day to let you know what the process is, how to get your timeline right.
I think you just need to, I think your approach to your meetings and your clients, you're kind of more in the way of, I'm going to serve you. I'm here to serve you.
I am.
I'm going to do everything that takes to serve you.
And when he doesn't do what they want.
That's, I think, your approach. And your clients are like, yeah, he's here to
them.
serve me and he's going to get everything.
Karis is the exact opposite.
Yeah, I'm like total
She's
opposite.
like,
I'm like,
take it or leave it. It's either 200% fuck yeah or like 200% fuck no.
I'm like, yeah, and that's what they want. They don't want to be, most of my clients don't want to be actually be bothered. They're like, we want,
That's how our clients are
yeah,
too.
pure documentary, candid, just guests enjoying themselves. yes, they do want sometimes, like a lot of my clients, they do want like cocktail coverage, but it's like the mood. People just enjoying themselves,
get
and
a
they're
couple of like
very
the
heavily
ambiance.
family, friends.
I do. I will
focused.
say though, I do lean very heavy on service.
Yeah, service. That's why I think
But-
that's where the
but that's the way
disconnect
you're
comes.
serving them. Like you don't have to be like in there like, oh, what do you want me to do? No, by just following what they want, and what they want is to have a good time. I'm servicing them, right? So I guess what
Find a
Karis
different
is
way to
saying,
serve them. Find a different way to serve them. Yeah.
Even though you feel like you're not doing anything, you're still serving them because they're enjoying themselves.
Right.
And that's
But
what
I
they
think
want.
An approach of I tell them I'm kind of in the background, like, that's where I am.
Don't
like,
bother me.
Right. But Ben is more like, I'm there next to you. Tell me, like, I'm here to serve you. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. Cocktail, this, everything I'm going to
Kelly,
get.
you're going to appreciate this so much, right? So I know you haven't gotten a chance to speak in the last 10 minutes.
Ben's
I'm listening.
But recently we worked with a planner, poor planner. She was amazing, right? She had a smile on her face, and the bride was just like,
Oh, yeah.
like you want to talk about hyena, right?
Like
she's like,
mean.
I paid all this money for a planner. You need to be by my side. Like,
All
Yeah,
times.
Like
I've
at all
seen that.
times.
I've seen that happen.
Oh God.
you got to be
Yeah.
like, if I need a glass of water, you need to be ready with that glass of water.
Yeah.
You know?
I hate seeing that.
Yeah.
So then, speaking of with Ben, expectations and like communication, what are you something that you do as a planner to set those? Because you have a more of like in-depth process.
Yeah.
So you have a lot more boundaries to set and
I
things
love
in
that
place.
word. Yes, boundaries.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And I established them from the beginning in the contract. There's times of communication, methods of communication, who will communicate with. So that's a big one. I say, if your name is not on this contract, I don't need to speak to you. I don't, you're not a decision maker in this process. So that's actually how I happened to get, through the mom involvement.
Right.
So that I weeded that out with that. But establishing boundaries is super important. We're always connected to our phones, and I feel like it's a little bit out of control. So if texts or emails come through after a certain time, I do not answer them until the next day. Over the weekend, we're focused on our events or we're off. We don't have a 9-to-5 job. So it's hard sometimes, especially in the beginning, to establish those boundaries, but it's super important. And I think the work-life balance, took me years to figure out, but I feel like we're finally getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would be the best way to serve, like for vendors to know to serve the clients that you work with? Because like it was Ben talking about like things to communicate with his clients as a photographer, like, no, I don't normally shoot like cocktail hour food. Why are you attacking me for not doing this? Like, this is not my process. Like, what's the best way that vendors should be communicating with, I guess, the planner and like the client as set expectations?
Yeah, so I think the initial consultation is super important to like establish the processes, what the next year and a half will look like, how you communicate, how often you communicate. Sometimes that's in the contract, sometimes it's just said verbally, but I know they do forget a lot, right? Especially if they booked you a year ago. They're going to forget what package they got. As a planner, we're there as a reminder for that. So we have a portal that keeps us all organized, and all of the contracts are there. So it lays out, what your time frame is, how many shooters are coming, how many meals you need to provide. We get down to those details. But I feel like for the vendors, it's important to establish boundaries in the beginning, but also talk about your process. Like, are you the type of vendor that is going to email every few months and check in, or are we talking to you 3 months out, 1 month out, just so we also are prepared in our minds, how to plan properly and when we'll expect to touch base again.
Yeah. Because I feel like, the couples, they don't know what they don't know. So like,
Right.
they don't know like, okay, for the instances that you've had like issues, they might have something to compare it to. Some couples might not have anything to compare it to. Like, let's say her best friend got married a year before and got like a whole display of cocktail hour food pictures, and now she's like,
She has a canvas of the
and now her
charcuterie
friend's looking
station.
at her gallery like, where's your cocktail hour pictures? Like,
Pictures of my sausages.
so like
My
overly
sausage
communicating is, I don't think it's a big thing. So like Kara said, she's upfront and like, you get, this is what it is, and what,
Right.
and then you will hear from me the day before the wedding. But her clients are also a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like ours are, I feel like, are between the both of you.
Yeah.
Where ours, like, they can go 6 months. Like, we have a wedding next month, and Rose like, who are these people? Because we haven't spoken to them for so long. But then we have clients that we talk to every week
Right.
on social media or whatever. Some people care, some people don't. But we do send like those touch points throughout the year. 6 months out, 3 months out. Here's a questionnaire. Don't forget to fill this out. We're going to go through this during the meeting.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like they're forgotten. And also little reminders of like what we're doing and what we're not doing.
And if cocktail hour is important, they'll tell us.
Yeah.
Cocktail hour coverage is important to us.
I'm the type of planner that does encourage a shot list, and I don't know how everyone feels about that. I say don't go crazy with it, but if something's super important to you, I want you to write that
definitely.
down.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Communicate. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then on the day of, we're literally checking things off. So that way we try not to miss anything.
Right,
If somebody is missing, we'll catch you later on.
Yeah.
But we physically won't check it off our list on the day of the wedding until it is done.
Right.
Yeah. We do not go to a wedding without a family shot list. Like I need I have it on my notes where you can just click the little button that crosses it off because I don't want to forget anything. But some photographers just show up and they're like, "Hey, bride and groom, you grab
Your
whoever,"
thing, yeah.
and then they get
Yes.
flustered. They don't know who they need. Someone
Yeah.
forgot grandma
Yep.
because she wasn't there, so they didn't see her. They didn't think of her, and
Yeah.
then
Yes.
afterwards they're like, "I never got a photo with so and so."
Also, the pre-communication with your family is so important.
Definitely.
Because I tell them, they're not mind readers. They're not going to know to stay behind, like after church,
Yes.
for example.
Yes.
And that you want photos with them. Someone has to communicate that.
Tell them
Yeah.
they need to be
Yes.
there. Like
Mhm.
I tell
Exactly.
everyone.
Even the people that know disappear.
Right.
They
Right.
do.
Imagine if you don't.
Yes, they
I've
do.
only ever missed one combo ever
Yeah.
in my career.
That-
One
Right,
combo.
Right. That one.
It was the one that you had to Photoshop in Pleasantville.
Oh yeah.
That was the only one I ever
There was a
missed.
few times we photoshopped. No, because you missed the. oh my god!
So your wife will
so
keep you humble, okay?
There seems to be a common occurrence here.
Well, I did hear, I don't know if this is true or not, that's getting easier with AI. I don't know if you guys dabble.
We've
No.
sent
We
it to
send
like
stuff out.
we've sent it as like a company where
Got it.
Yeah.
I haven't done
They
it
can-
recently.
they
But
They
can-
do like
they can do that
overseas
stuff.
for like.
yeah, they'll bring out like someone and
Yeah.
put it in the shot.
It's
That's
happened to us
interesting.
once, and then now we show up with a list.
Yeah.
But to our defense, it wasn't 100% our fault. You ever worked at Jericho Terrace?
Yeah, it's a wedding factory there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's exactly what was happening, right? The maitre d' came. You have to leave right now.
Because there's another wedding coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in between that family shot, we missed the combination that we were doing. So the bride reached out to us, was like, "Hey, my brother's missing. No problem." We took her brother from another photo that was like a couple of minutes prior in the same area. They
and then
added him in.
Just put 'em in.
She was so happy.
See?
And,
Yeah.
and she knew it was Photoshop.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we told her, but she also didn't blame us. Like we explained what happened. They kicked us out.
Oh, we
of
did
that
at Crystal
spot.
Plaza too because the brother disappeared.
Oh, but
And then we
but they were
popped
all
them in.
fully
Yeah,
aware. They were all fully
Yeah, they
aware.
were like, "It's his loss. He's not here."
They
Right.
told us to take the picture because their brother disappeared. They were
Yeah.
we're like, "You sure?
Yeah, it's fine. Yep.
Take it."
Yeah.
He should have been here. I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. But then we
Yeah.
photoshopped them in later on.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Photoshop has, there's a lot of stuff we can do with Photoshop. There's a lot of stuff we can do with AI.
Just don't tell your clients that.
But it does. Time is cost, right? Time is money,
Yes.
right? So it does require a little bit of time to do those
Oh,
things.
that costed us money too to send them out.
Right.
That we ate it up. Like we're not gonna
Right,
build a
right,
client. We rather make them be happy and
Yeah. But to go back to your topic of shot list, right? Like I don't mind shot list if it's something that's obscure. I don't know that it's important to you,
Right.
Right. So let's say you have grandma's dress embroidered into your
Yes.
dress or something. I don't know it's down there,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So you got to tell me
They
that
need
it's
to
down
tell-
there.
yep.
You got to tell
Yeah.
me that it's down there, so I'll photograph it, right?
Right. We're not mind readers.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes things that I used to photograph. I don't do it as much these days. The charcuterie board is one of them, right? Like you laugh, but I got in trouble recently.
Yeah,
This is very
that's-
recent.
that's
The wound is very
wild.
fresh. The wound is still very fresh
Yeah.
right now, right? She got mad that I didn't photograph her celery sticks and her carrot sticks from her cocktail hour. But in any case, yes, that's helpful if it's like super duper important to you. But the thing is, and I talked about this on my live yesterday, right? There are two things in my contract that we talk about. The first one is creative freedom, right? At the end of the day, we're still artists. We need to be able to have that freedom to create on our terms as well. Because if you're directing us to shoot this way and that way and using this and whatever it is, then it's no longer our product. And then now we're, the product, we can't stand by that product that we're going to produce at the end. You know what I mean? Because at that point, we're just a hired gun. The other part of our contract is I have a no guarantee in my contract as well. No guarantee clause in the contract. And what that says is weddings are live events. A lot of things happen beyond our control. So whether it's inclement weather, let's say you wanted a sunset shot, right? It's like in the shot list, it says, I want a sunset shot, right? Well, listen, it's overcast on your wedding day.
Right.
What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Or
Right.
if it's raining that day and you booked something along the Hudson River, right? There's like a whole bunch of venues along the Hudson River, right? And you want the city skyline, but I can't even see the New York City skyline from where we're standing, right? So like, how do you want me to get that shot? So shot lists, they do have, I mean, they're great tools to have, but like what I'm trying to discourage folks is like to live and die by this shot list.
Right.
Because, you still have to leave some room for reason.
Yes. Yes.
But that's more of like the creative direction, right? You're talking about if someone gives you a shot list, like I want a picture of the bridesmaids helping me with my train. I want this. That's
fine.
different, But like we're talking about like what's
Family
important
photos,
to
right?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stuff. And I mean, we'll get like a list, not a list, but inspiration photos. Like the couple will send us.
Why didn't they hire that photographer?
Well, I feel like I know a lot of people are against that, but sometimes it helps me get rid of that mind block. For example, you meet a couple, they're not the touchy-feely romantic
Yes.
type, right?
Yes.
But now the bride sends you all these romantic photos, right? You're like, all right, let's go that route. Just based on their personality, I probably wouldn't have gone that route, but now they're giving me the green light to head in this direction. So sometimes it is useful just to kind of gauge of what the aesthetic is and where they want to go. But if they send me a list telling me like, what to do every 5 minutes, of course you don't want that. That's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna be like chasing this checklist like it's
Yeah.
my bread ticket, like the whole
Yeah.
day.
Check it off.
Just okay, I got this one. I got that. I'm not gonna be able to do my job that day.
like an egg hunt.
Yeah, like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like that's what I'm trying to avoid doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Early on, we were shooting for a studio. Well, I think it was for that studio where they gave me a binder,
Oh
a
yeah.
printout of all the photos
Really?
That they need
that
to
they
get.
wanted.
I've gotten one.
The mom came up to me. She's like, "Here's the shot list," and it was like an old school plastic binder. Every page was like different shots, and I was like, "Hey, this is what we're doing." We just redid
my
everything that was in there.
gosh.
But it was way early on. We were shooting for another
I don't
company.
remember that.
Yeah, we were shooting for another company.
Yeah, I think I did a count. It's my shot list as I have it right now. It has about 500 items, give or take. It sounds like a lot, but it's not.
The whole
Because it's the whole day, and we've got it committed to muscle memory. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you have something that's a little obscure that I wouldn't know that it's there.
Right.
Maybe a parent passed away. You have a little brooch that on the flower and stuff. I didn't know it was
Yep.
there. Then let me know that it's there.
Yes. Exactly.
Are you seeing any current trends with what kind of style photographies that clients are looking for nowadays?
My clients tend to love editorial. They do, but it's a wide variety,
Yeah.
documentary, journalistic, and, you guys know all about the differences.
Sure.
But yeah, they do love their editorial and the black and white photos and the blurry photos.
Yep.
That's very much trending.
Yep, that's the thing now.
Yeah.
I think we did one.
Yeah,
always
I
have-
do them. I do them.
We've
I
always
probably won't
added-
show it, but
We've always added blurry photos.
My
but
photos
we-
have been blurry for 15 years.
Yeah, always. It's just-
I was ahead of the trend.
Yeah.
So for listeners or people who don't know, maybe this will probably be helpful for a good social media clip. What is the difference between a coordinator and a full planner?
Yep, great question. So a coordinator comes on very close to the wedding. So at this point, the couple has booked all of their vendors, hopefully, right? And they're getting to the stage where now they have to cross the T's, dot the I's, and work on their timeline for the day. So a lot of times we do it with a photographer when it comes to the timeline, because obviously the photos, that schedule is kind of the starting point for everything else. We work backwards. We work towards the end of the night, but we come on just to help organize the day and oversee all of the details. So we're part of those final meetings and phone calls, details drop off at the venue. And then on the day of the wedding, we are there for up to 12 hours. That's how we operate. Every company is a little bit different. And we have at least 2 coordinators on every wedding. A wedding planner is there from the very beginning. And sometimes the couple has booked their venue. Sometimes they have not, but that's usually around the time we get started. And we literally help plan A to Z, down to the shoes you're wearing. We can help you pick that out. Jewelry, you name it, skincare.
Really?
We are very involved. And there are couples, brides mostly, because that's who we communicate with regularly, that are, very particular, or they have a very specific vision or very specific requests. But we have vendors for everything, spray tans, acrobats, you know, you name
Wow.
it, we have somebody for it. Yeah.
Do you ever have day of coordinator clients that wind up expecting planning roles?
Yes, we do. So, you know, that is something from experience we've really had to establish boundaries with. Listen, we were not there when you booked your venue. We did not book any of your vendors for you. We are now working with what you have. And sometimes, you know, it does prove a little bit difficult, especially if we've never worked with a vendor before, because we don't know their personality. We don't know, you know, how they operate on a wedding day. But we do make sure to speak with them before going into the wedding day, of course. We do make sure they get that scheduled, they approve it, review it. Hopefully they did read it, and that, you know, we're all on the same page. That's the most important. And we're all working towards the same goal, right? We want the client to be happy and have the best day. But, you know, it does prove challenging when we're working with difficult vendors. You know, that's definitely the hardest part. And managing, like I said, what the client has booked.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's really too late to make major changes.
You made this mess, not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, basically, that's what it comes down to.
So now I gotta clean up your mess.
Yes.
I guess sort of related to your question. So when you are building your network of vendors that you're working with, what are some things that vendors can do to make your life easier? More specifically, photographers, but we'll talk about the other vendors.
Yeah.
Well, we love our photographers. So, you know, communication is key. I don't want to have to chase you down for you to reply to an email, return my call or text. At that point, you know, it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Especially if we selected you for a wedding. You know, we pitched you, we praised you.
Yeah.
For me,
You're vouching for them.
yeah, you know,
Makes you look bad if
have
you
our
don't
back.
deliver. Yeah.
Yeah. So we look for, of course, talent, obviously, right? Professionalism, reliability, experience. But the communication is definitely important. Yeah. But we love our vendors. We go hard for you, and we expect you to also have our back. I think a vendor team on the day when it's a magical dynamic, it's incredible to see. When you even have one little, you know, piece of the pie that's not really, or piece of the puzzle that's not connecting, it does become a little bit tricky. But that's why we love planning so much, because we get to hand select along with the clients who they're going to work with on the wedding day. And those are my favorite weddings.
I'm sure you've come across this where you like recommended vendors, they did not go in that direction, and then you want to like
Yep.
strangle them at the end of the night.
Yep. And those, you know, no offense
Shit
to
list,
anybody.
shit list.
Yeah, those prove to be the most difficult vendors. Yep.
I mean, we experience this
Unbelievable.
too, because like you guys have your list too. Just like they have their
Right.
preferred vendor list, we have our preferred vendor list as well.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, I gave you 10 videographers to choose from, but you picked the one who is just going to be.
Oh man, you know what?
That was me
happens?
last year. I wanted to kill the man. Like I walked in and I was like ready to kill him. Ready to kill
But
him.
at the end of the day, you also don't want to make them feel bad for hiring this
Yeah.
vendor,
Right.
right?
You have to suck it up when they're like, did they give you a hard time? They're a jerk. No, it was fine. No, we make it work. And then he's like,
Freaking asshole. This person was an asshole.
I wish so many times I wish I could say that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm probably gonna say it one day. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to that point.
I think maybe one day.
But I feel like it's harder for a planner to be like, because she's giving the best recommendations as opposed to like a photographer recommended a videographer, right? Whatever. But the planner, you hire them specifically to make your life easier and then give you recommendations
Then
and
make
you
your
go
life
off
harder.
of it and they
Yeah.
make her life harder
Right.
or the other vendor's life harder and it just doesn't make any sense.
At that point, I'm like, why did you hire me then? Because
Yeah.
I'm giving you a million. I have a million recommendations. We have our list because I would have, you know, a whole book. But, you know, we know so many people. It's a big network. And then you go and find, you know, a random on Google. And I'm just like, what's going on? Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible.
It's disappointing.
I'm trying not to get phone calls next week. when this goes live, and then I'm going to get phone calls the following week.
You
know
you
what,
had wanted to talk about, which is ties into this, was about like venues and like how they kind of like try and pitch their own coordinators and like talk to
They
us
are
about.
not coordinators or
Thank you.
planners. Stop.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about
Don't
the people that
even-
show up? They say that they're planners or coordinators.
No,
they're
the
pitching
venue
this.
people,
offers,
the venue
offering.
person.
They're
Oh,
probably
okay.
like, oh, you don't need a planner. We have somebody on site that will help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not the
No.
fucking same.
No.
I'm sorry to say.
No.
Like,
It's
No, it's not
not
the same.
No.
It's
Not the
just
same.
not.
that someone's gonna take you back to the bridal suite. That's who that person is.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not
Bring your cocktail
coordinating
food,
and
yes.
like, come on.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, because they are helpful once the brides arrive on site, as far as arranging the kitchen and stuff. Because you know what I always thought was really funny was when the planners, not you, because I've never worked with you before, right? But sometimes you have planners and coordinators, they show up and they go into the venue and they go into the kitchen and tell them like, hey, listen, desserts need to be out now, or
like
need to be out now. I'm like, wait a second.
House,
That's not me.
Like, what are you doing here? Like, you're
Get the charcuterie.
You're like, this is the venue's domain. This is the catering's domain. What are you doing in the kitchen?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's not my place to say anything. I'm just watching, right? As a amused spectator, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. You know, like it's very different. The on-site coordinator is very different from someone who's there
On-site
from
coordinator
from the whole
pretty
day.
much is bridal
Your
attendant.
bridal
Yeah,
attendant and your
and
bridal
also some clients need to know that
They're
a
not the
planner
same.
is not that
Not
role
the
either.
same.
I can't tell you how many times like I've been at a wedding and I hear the bridesmaids like, where's the planner? I need her to carry my bag. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Carry
Thank
your
you.
fucking bag yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's not what this person is there for. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
That when I hear shit like that, it just
Oh, you
pisses
should
me
have been at
off.
my wedding a couple weeks. Oh my gosh.
And it
Gosh.
happens often when there's a
Really?
coordinator or a planner on site. Like it happens often.
Yeah. This.
So
this,
what do you want couples to know about the difference between venue and coordinator?
Well, I want venues to stop discouraging clients from booking
Yes.
outside coordinators or planners. Like we are here to make everyone's life easier. That's what a good planner does. I can't speak for all the planners out there because I've heard a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating, you know. What we do is very different from the venue's roles. We have very different jobs. They need to worry about, you know, back of the house, food, you know, all of that fun stuff. We are there for our couples and we're managing the vendors. And we're with the couple for a year and a half, however long it may be. And we're talking to them on a regular basis. I'm talking about every week, every other day at some point. So our roles are very, very different. And I don't like to hear when a venue tells a couple they don't need us. That is simply not true. They need a good planner, not just any planner. If you're going to hire someone,
people that show up with a
make the
clipboard.
investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, show up, clipboard, and disappear for the whole
I-
day.
Right.
Where were you?
I don't remember the venue. I remember a maitre d'. We worked the wedding, and there was a planner on site, and he was like, "This is I love when there's a planner." So I asked him why. He goes, "I don't do shit." He goes, "When there's a planner here, I don't do shit." He goes, "My job is to make sure that the dinner comes out on time, and that's it."
Yeah.
He was
Right.
like, "I love when there's planners."
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "You know, that's
I
smart."
love it when there's a good planner.
Good
Yeah.
planner.
Yes.
is
I was
good
gonna say the
planner.
same
Sometimes
thing.
sometimes they get in the way too. So for instance, like I
Right.
shoot without a family shot list because
Yeah.
I have a muscle memory. I can get through the entire
Immediate family.
immediate family only,
Right,
right? But
right.
extended family, I don't know what your Aunt Mary looks like. So I
right.
need help with that, right? But
Of course.
immediate family, I would have hung out with them for the whole day. I know what mom looks like. I know what dad looks like. I know what the siblings look like,
Right.
right? And then there was one time the planner was trying to be helpful. God bless her, right? And she was calling out names. I was like, listen, if you go do it your way, we're going to be here for an hour, okay? So let me do it my way. After I'm done with this list, you check off, as I'm doing it, just check off your list. And then if I miss any, you let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit everything. And I did hit everything, right?
Yeah.
I guess my follow-up question to you is, do you have any other grievances that you have with other vendors? Maybe not venues, but maybe with photographers. What are
Yeah.
some
Ooh,
things
let's
that
go
we do?
category by category.
Ooh. So, you know, we have worked with difficult photographers. I'm not going to lie about that.
Sure.
Not our crew, you know.
Of course.
But that's why we work with who we work with.
If you want, you could drop their name.
I'm going to give me more phone calls next week.
Oh boy. I think there's a lot of ego in the wedding world. I really
yeah,
do.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I do encourage everyone to check their ego at the door. We are very easy to work with. I will say that's the feedback that we get. There are some planners that are super hands-on and are trying to run the show. We're not like that. We're kind of behind the scenes trying to facilitate the production.
Yeah.
But we will step in when we have to. That's how I work. So yeah, we're just trying to be helpful, but also not be in the way of a photographer, right? So we're going to respect your space, respect your boundaries, you know, not shoot, you know, if we're shooting like behind the scenes right next to you, we're trying not to be on top of you. But sometimes, you know, they do want to be the front person, you know, running the show. And that's fine. We'll just work alongside you.
Yeah.
It's not a competition to me. We all, again, should have the same goal to make this couple as happy as possible. Yeah.
What's another category?
Video?
video?
Video, tends to be easier in my
that's true.
opinion.
They're like a forgotten stepchild.
They're like go with the flow.
They're the father.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, I'm just happy I'm here.
I'm just happy I got the
Me
bucket.
too. Me too.
And then hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Hair and makeup, for the most part, what we do well is we pre-coordinate a lot. So we try to manage the timeline and buffer it in. So we do lie a little bit when they're, for
yeah.
example.
Sure.
Certain names,
Need
like,
to.
they got to take a little bit longer.
Yes, I
They're
will
a little
lie.
chatty.
That's what we do. There's certain people that we know who we love because they're artists and
Yes.
they do great work. But when we see their names, we know, all right, let's tell the bride to be ready 45 minutes
Right.
earlier,
Yeah. And that comes from experience, right? Because that specific artist, once they are done, they will want to shoot 10 minutes of content,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I keep that in my mind, and I'm like, okay, let's tell her she needs to be done by 12:30. When in reality, it's 1:00, right?
What about entertainment?
Entertainment, for the most part, is pretty easy to work with. But I have had hybrid situations, like a band and a DJ. Believe it or not, I've had 2 bands and 2 DJs at one wedding. Yeah, and it's because the cultures and the traditions are
We're gonna
mixed.
play rock, paper, scissors to see who goes
Yes,
first.
so you can imagine doing that timeline is a little stressful.
Oh my God.
And then
like-
where do you put them all?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, they have to share.
And it's
I'm sure
also
they have to share.
space.
Oh
yeah. Making it work for everybody and trying to please everybody. And, everyone wants their time in the spotlight, right? And it's important that they're there, that they do get their time,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But I would say for the most part, bands and DJs are pretty easy to work with. Yeah.
Florist and decor.
Florist and decor. I think we hit a button here.
I feel like they're the artists that because planners have they're working with the client, they have a vision, but then they're also
Yes.
working with another artist
Right,
that's
right.
executing that vision.
This is
Yes.
the whole creative. The whole team is
They're all
creative.
about
But the
personalities,
planners
yeah.
have a more of a connection with decor than florist
Sure.
and like the
Yeah.
photographer.
It's the aesthetic,
So it's
yeah.
like
If
Their whole
they
aesthetic.
designed
it,
Put it
yeah.
together.
Too,
Yep.
Yep.
Yes. We have our handful of florists and designers, because a lot of them are floral designers that we work with and we trust. But sometimes when it is a newer vendor that we haven't worked with, it can be a little bit difficult at times because, the vision, may not align. And this goes back to the client, for planning the wedding, the client going off and selecting a florist that we don't know, we've never worked with, right? But they're a family friend or whatever the case may be. A lot of times, I hate to say it, they're disappointed with the result on the wedding day. And at that point, it's too late.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do.
Yep.
I'm not a florist. That is not my expertise. I only know so much about each industry because it's my job. But I can't go pick those flowers outside that, don't match your aesthetic,
Yeah.
But I think also in our industry, you do get what you pay for. And I that is a cliche line, but a lot of times what you invest is what you
100%
get
true.
back.
True.
100% true. I remember there was I think I told you guys this story before. Earlier in my career, I had a groom ask me, "Hey, listen, I got some extra money left in our budget. I want to hire a video team. I want to hire video now." I was like, "Well, how much money are we talking about?" "Oh, $500. I was like, "You know what? Just take that money, get a camcorder, put it in the corner, and I will
Press the button.
Just press the button. Have a family member press the button. You're better off that way." So he's like, "Okay, whatever." So then on the wedding day, on the morning of a groom prep, right? He's like, "Guess what, Ben? I found a videographer." I was like, "Oh no!"
Craigslist, right? This was off of
I think it was Craigslist or something, right? I found a videographer, right? So anyway, this guy during the ceremony, the bride's coming down the aisle, and the video guy's like, "Stop the wedding!" He didn't press the record button because he was a solo shooter.
No.
He was in the back, and then the camera in the front, he forgot to press the record button. So he stopped the wedding so he can run over there, press the record
button.
button.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
"Carry on." I was like,
He did it twice.
He did it twice.
First,
the second time,
Wait.
and then the second time,
Battery.
he ran out of battery
Yeah.
juice on for cake cutting.
No.
something. Yep,
So he's like,
right.
"Stop the cake cutting, stop,
He's like,
stop, 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 stop."
Wait for me.
And then he had to get batteries from his bag
Hilarious.
across the room.
Should have been in
No.
his
He
pocket.
was sweating. He was drinking.
He was drinking
No.
a cocktail.
That's so cringy.
Yep.
So $500, that's what you get. And anyway, I saw the video. It was a terrible video, by the way.
course.
I'm sure.
it was, right? But I was like, you know what? Now I have this story to tell. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Going back to florists, I can't tell you how many times, like in our career, they deliver something totally different. It happens so
Yep.
often, right?
Mhm.
And
All the time.
I've seen a bride cry because
had
of
one
I
more
had
this.
bride
one. I had
And
one.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I show her the boutonnieres, I was like, "Are these going to the groom?" And they were humongous, like these humongous.
It was so
They were
big.
these
Just wearing a
humongous-
centerpiece?
Oh my god!
Sunflower.
And then she goes, "What is that?" And I go, "It's the boutonnieres." And she goes, "That's not what I asked for." And then she saw her bouquet.
Oh no.
She was in tears.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, and I've seen that so many times.
Yeah, they'll show us like this is what it's supposed to look like on their
Yeah,
phone,
the
and then you look at the product, you're like,
what the hell?
think they
Different
could get
color,
away with
different
this?
color and
Like,
everything.
I had one bride who got really upset about her flowers. Because the thing is, when you look at a picture of a bouquet by itself, it looks a certain way, but then, so the actual product didn't match the photo, but it was a lot smaller than what you expected. So I think she spent
fake
maybe,
out.
I don't know, $50 for a bridesmaid bouquet. Is that normal or is that low?
That's
For
cheap.
bridesmaids, that's low.
Yeah. So she spent she's like, I spent $50 for this bouquet and it's so tiny. I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, I don't know how much flowers cost, but I feel like that's awfully low.
Yeah, that's very
for a
low.
bridesmaid
Yeah.
bouquet.
that's a good thing to talk about florists, because I'm sure you get like inspiration from brides that send like a display.
Yeah.
Hanging
floral
off the
wall?
ceiling.
And they don't realize how much flowers cost.
Things
Like
cost. Yep,
flowers
yep.
are
Expensive.
so expensive.
It's so expensive.
it
Yeah.
can
So
rack
it's
up
a-
quickly. Like,
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Because
what's like the average floral budget that you see for like a really beautiful display?
that's hard. It just ranges because of the design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing lows, if you're doing highs, what kind of flowers you're using.
Yeah.
Are you mixing in silk? Is it all real? I would, when I have brides reaching out, I get DMs, even if you're not my client. I get the. Do you know florists that would do a wedding for $5,000? I said no, and not one that I would recommend you work with.
that's crazy.
Our ranges we see anywhere from 15,000 to 100,000.
Oh my
You
God.
know?
flowers.
Yes, and so it all
Flowers are
depends.
expensive. And it's
At the
it's
end
a
of the
seasonal,
night-
I don't
it's
feel so
not-
guilty
yeah, you
charging what I
gotta-
charge
At the end of the night, when we're loading up our car, we're seeing the florist go to the
heart.
dumpster.
Oh,
I
no.
know. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Toss
Breaks my heart.
everything.
For
Yeah.
one day, 100 grand out the window like that in the
But
dumpster.
but a lot of times with the higher budget, like it includes like other things like rentals or like a floor wrap
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It depends how involved that florist
Yeah.
is in the design process. And whether I'm coordinating or planning, sometimes it's a combo. But yeah, I would say a good starting point these days is 15 to 20,000 and up. Yeah,
Sounds about right.
I don't feel so bad now. Yeah, I don't feel so bad.
yeah.
I also had no idea. You mentioned is a mix of silk and real flowers. I had no
Yeah,
idea they
yeah.
do
But
that.
they can mix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
sometimes flowers are not in season, so you got to get a silk
Right,
one. for that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or you need more of a fluffer flower, and
Yeah.
it just makes more sense. Or the bride is like, I really want this flower to be white and the super white, and the only way you can accomplish that is by getting a silk flower.
Spend all the
Yeah.
budget on that, and then the bridesmaids bouquet is just baby's breath. Everyone gets baby's
Yes.
Oh, the baby's breath.
They're all
Oh,
like
boy.
kids.
I saw yesterday on my stories. I am hanging out on Instagram a lot more these days. And
I see. I saw.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
very proud.
Oh, did you like my last reel?
Yes, your 10-minute reel. Yes.
But I'm pretty sure you didn't watch the whole thing, right?
No, I watched like 7 minutes of it. I was like,
Yeah, the venue one.
goodbye.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later, right? But no, they brought puppies instead of they were holding puppies.
I want to
Yes.
see that. Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
hold puppies, and then so they got like
That-
all the bridesmaids holding puppies.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
happening
saw
for a
that.
while.
But do they adopt them at the
Yeah,
end of the
they
night?
adopted.
Okay.
The whole goal is these are ready to adapt,
Rescue.
and then at the end of the night, these should go to new homes.
But then that concerns me, because then you have drunk Joe who's like, you let me adopt a little puppy, and then like the next day wakes up and like, oh, I don't want a dog. Like then what?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure the foster agencies or the
They'll figure it
adoption,
out.
they're screening them.
Yeah, this
They're not gonna just let. You know how hard it is to get
Yes, I know.
how hard it is to adopt a dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Like-
wanted us to
Yes.
do like a
It's-
home visit.
it's a process.
Like,
It's harder than adopting a kid.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm also a sales and marketing coach as well, right? And and one of the things that I teach is relationship marketing, right? How important it is to foster and nurture these relationships with other vendors in the industry, because the algorithms will change in SEO and even social media. The algorithms change, right? And you just have to keep up with it all the time. However, a relationship that you have could last a very long time. It's just a matter of serving those people around you. Because photographers are the people that I work with the most. And as far as the booking sequence goes for a lot of folks, for a lot of couples, is usually like venue and planner. You guys are usually 1 and 2, and then the photographer after that, right?
Yes.
So if we're working on trying to build relationships with venues and planners and stuff, right? What are some things do you think that photographers can do to have that relationship with planners, so that way we can be on your good side?
Yeah.
Because I spoke with another planner.
Mhm.
I'll leave her name out, but I'll tell you after we're done recording, right? She's like, yeah, stop sending us gifts. I have a closet full of gifts already. I have so many
It's true.
mugs.
A lot of photographers
I have
do that.
so many mugs.
That's so
I have so
funny.
many baskets, right? Like, stop sending
Yeah.
us stuff, right? That's not going to get you on our list. But maybe you can share with us a little bit of insight how to get on your good side.
Yeah, I think making a genuine connection, or maybe even coming on to a style shoot. And I know not everyone's doing those every year. I didn't do one this year for the first time in a while. But having establishing some kind of like relationship, and then building that trust, I think that's super important. And for a venue in that aspect, if they see you there enough, if they love your work, if you respect their space, if you're producing, amazing, photos or video, they're going to want to work with you because you're showcasing their space so nicely, and you respect the house when you're there. For planners, it goes back for us, like, can we trust you? Are you reliable, professional? Do you communicate? Not so much the gift giving, I will say that, but like, do you have our back? We're always looking for vendors to work with, but we want to make sure that it is always, the right fit for the client too.
Because I feel like in those arrangements can oftentimes feel a little one-sided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I know a lot of times when we work with video people, they're like, well, we were the last to get booked. I wish I could send referrals your way and stuff.
Right.
I was like, listen, it's not like the reason why I'm referring you is not because you're giving me some kind of kickback or that you're sending referrals back to me. The reason why I'm referring to you is because you make my life easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So I was like, if that is the case with me and videographers, right, it's got to be somewhat pretty similar between me and planners and me and venues.
Yes.
Like if I can make their lives a little easier, a little bit more profitable, a little bit more just convenient, right? Like
Yep.
now I'm showing up on their radar in a positive, meaningful way. And
Exactly.
I'm teaching this, right? And people are like, no, you're full of shit, Ben. Like I was like, no,
Nope.
I'm pretty sure I'm not. But now that I have a planner here,
Yes.
the whole concept of like just being a team player to serve those people in a meaningful way. I mean, that's got to
Yes.
be something, right?
It's about making an impact. And for us, it's about the total experience,
Right.
the process leading up to the wedding and the wedding day itself. Yep.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about kickbacks because it seems to be in our experience, and even once you get to a higher end market, it's rather normal for planners to ask for a kickback as well as venues. How do you feel about kickbacks? What are your thoughts on it?
So I don't really support it, meaning I don't, that's not how I operate. Everyone is different, right? They can do what they wish with their business, but we are percentage-based planning company. So we actually work with the client's budget, and that's how we operate. At one point, we were flat rate, and then over the last 2 years, we became percentage-based.
That's smart.
Yeah, but we don't ask for commission or kickback from our clients, from our vendors. We ask our vendors to do the best they can
Yeah.
for our clients. Do your thing. We trust you, and we don't need anything. We just need you to continue to be the best at what you do and make our clients happy.
But
Yeah.
a box of chocolates once a year is not so bad, right?
Yeah, those are nice.
Just tell us what brand you want.
No, one of our planner friends, she's like, just do a little something extra for
But
for my
but
couples.
not monetary. It's like
Right.
for example, like if they need an extra hour, or like we're like, all right, yeah, since we're working with our friend, we'll give you
Right.
like they won't ask for it, we'll just like throw it in.
Right.
So that's what I do for the planners who refer, at least for me. Like,
Yes.
I want to make the planner look good too, because
Yeah.
they're at the end of the day, they are pitching me. They
Yes.
are representing me also when they're talking to the clients. So I want to make them look good. So I'll throw in some extra freebies and stuff.
One of the easiest things that we do is just get BTS to like
Make-
of you guys in
stuff
action.
that they can use
Working.
for
Yes.
socials and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always, try to make that a thing without them asking me. I just like if I see them around working, they're part of the day. Like if I'm not doing my job documenting the wedding if I don't get them.
church.
What about transportation?
Limo drivers, just don't be late.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to work with. Everyone
Okay.
has like that technology now where you either get an email or a text on the wedding day from the chauffeur, and
Really?
you know when they're coming and they're arriving.
Yeah, my only beef with transportation is that sometimes the couples they skimp on it a little bit. So
Okay.
I'll give you an example, right? So let's say they
They're
get
rushing you back to the venue.
so I'll give you an example, right? So let's say downtown Jersey City to Liberty House or Maritime Park, right? It's like a 15, 20-minute ride, right? But the thing is, for that transportation to go there and then come back, that's at least 40 minutes,
Right.
right? So
They try to use the same.
they try to use the same
shuttle. Yeah.
the same shuttle to go
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
they do.
So I was like, you know what? Why don't you just get 2 shuttles, or you do your first look somewhere in Jersey City in the hotel or something like that, and then take 1 shuttle over.
That makes
Right.
sense.
You know, I've had
Yeah.
because the thing is, you think downtown Jersey City to Liberty State Park is like a short
No,
ride.
it could take half hour.
It can.
Yeah.
One time
Yeah.
I had someone go from Hoboken to Jersey City, and you think it's the next town over. It's quick. It's
Right.
Take an
not.
hour.
Right.
Listen, the best thing our client did was from the hotel in Jersey City. She got on the bus first, went all the way to the back. They blindfolded him. He got on. He sat in the front.
Oh my god.
You don't ever see her. Like, it's fine. Like, why is this like a big deal? Like, there's a way to hide people.
Yeah, I
Or
would
just
be
get
sweating.
2 shuttles.
Yeah, so
Or just
that
get 2
was
shuttles.
super helpful.
I had no
Yeah,
idea
or
how
get a
much shuttles
car, a
Yeah.
shuttle and car.
The guys get Uber with no problem.
Yeah, a
it's
lot of
harder for
people-
the ladies.
Yes, because of the dresses, but a lot of guys Uber.
I once I had an Uber XL pick up the bride, and they just needed a big vehicle, right? Because she's got the dress and everything. A windowless white van picked her up.
Oh my
What do you
god.
mean?
It was the best. It's like we have a
No.
picture of them with the Uber driver. It was the funniest. It was like one of those conversion vans.
Like-
Right.
It's like, that says
Yeah.
free candy on the outside.
Oh my gosh.
It was hilarious.
That could be an XL.
I guess it's
I
huge.
guess.
It's a huge.
But with
Yeah,
no
it's
windows?
I
it's
wouldn't
like-
get in there.
It has like nice seats and stuff. I'm
But
sure.
with no windows?
I don't know.
It's like a cargo van.
It's a cargo
Right,
van. It was a cargo
right.
van.
That's crazy.
With a sliding door and everything.
No.
There's probably
So I vehicle.
bread racks, like bread racks on the side.
There's a little bed in the back, right?
Oh my gosh.
Lord.
so,
scary.
What current wedding trends?
current wedding trends?
Yes.
She said blurry photos.
No, not for just photography, but like in general.
weddings, like the aesthetics of the wedding.
But it's like, I only want to know what they want for photography.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we see lighting trending a lot, meaning structures or fixtures as part of centerpieces or in the ceiling. We're seeing that trending moving forward. So excited to, play more with flowers and lighting, like a combo of that. That will be fun.
Yeah.
And it'll cut back on floral expense. But, production is also very expensive. And I feel like people oversee that when it comes to lighting or sound, especially having to bring in your own at venues can get costly for sure. What else? Smaller bridal parties. That's definitely still
Oh,
trending.
Karis is like, woo.
Yeah, makes me happy too. Some people, these clients have no bridal party or they just have their best man or maid of honor. Yeah, so
Should
we
give a
love
discount. I
that.
should give a discount if you have less than 4.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
told Jen that, like
If you have
joking
less than
around.
4.
Put on a pricing.
It's not a penalty. It's not a penalty, guys. It's a discount.
we're still seeing that. And, the destination wedding trend, I will say that's still, picking up and people are going to Europe or they're going to the Caribbean or just another state, something new, something different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about like for like reception wise, as far as like unique different things that they're incorporating now?
Yeah. So, the lighting too with the florals, mixing that, a lot of candle work. We see that as well. Entertainment, has always been important, but like incorporating more like live elements if you do have a DJ, more surprises for the guests, more interactive things, whether it's, those champagne walls or,
Oh, yes.
yeah, having like
The hands and.
yeah, or having a company. Mocktails are actually picking up in popularity. So
Yeah.
you have bars coming in that are just making mocktails.
I love
So
that.
that's a lot of fun. Yeah, because there is a non-drinking population. So yeah, we're trying to stay up to speed with the trends. It's always changing, especially with
Photo
TikTok.
booths, 3D booths.
Yeah.
Remember the Giphy
Yeah.
booths? Remember?
Yeah.
You know what I haven't seen that much?
The-
The donut walls. The donut walls
I
are
still see
like.
donut walls.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
donut
see
walls.
It's
that.
my
haven't
wedding
seen
that I'm
donut
seeing
walls.
donut walls.
It's been a while. but
Yeah.
I kind of missed the donut
It's,
walls.
Yeah.
it's the momzillas and the donut walls. I get those
Yeah.
two a lot.
So maybe I don't want donut walls.
No.
Because the momzillas come with them, right?
Are they incorporating like good food elements?
Yeah, whether it's part of their culture, right? Whether they want to honor that and bring in tradition. Another newer vendor that we're seeing, besides the content creator, which I know is a big subject for photo and video, illustration artist. So not the same as a live painter, but an illustration artist.
How's that work? I never
Yeah.
heard this.
So we just booked one for a wedding in October, and they're gonna try and get as many guests as possible, and they literally sit there and they sketch.
Like a caricature artist.
Yes, like as a couple or as an
How many
individual.
minutes per?
I think it's a few minutes, but if they don't get the couple, if they don't finish the product, they can then send it to you at a later time. Yeah.
Have you ever
I've seen
seen?
that.
Have you ever seen a TikTok where like the artist purposely draws them really ugly and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my God.
yes.
I love them.
I would have loved that at a wedding. That would be great at a wedding.
That's funny.
That would be so good at a wedding.
There was a video. I don't know if it was TikTok because I don't have TikTok, but I saw it on Instagram. They had a tattoo artist at a wedding.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yep, I've seen that.
Yeah, and they were doing like small tattoos,
Small little
like
tattoos
quick.
and
Yeah, like
Yeah.
dainty. Yeah.
But imagine if you're drunk.
I
That's how bad
know.
decisions are made.
No, but
That
it's
makes
during
you
cocktail
nervous.
hour. So like this is like
The
prior.
start.
Yeah.
the
Well,
beginning.
this is a good segue into like bad decisions and
Bad decisions.
and chaos at a wedding.
Ben, you don't have any tattoos, huh?
I don't.
Oh.
We thought about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go.
don't know.
We should have did it in Dallas.
Do you
when
have
I told
tattoos, Ro?
I don't have nothing.
He has nothing.
I've
we do it
been
together?
saying I'm going to get one for the last 20 years.
I have a little heart, Ben and Ro, right?
Aw, Ben Ro.
That's
Ben Ro.
that's the name of a tripod company. Ben Ro.
just get a tripod.
Does Karis doesn't have anything either?
We're all thinking, you're the only
Wow.
one that's tatted. But
Oh.
we thought about, we just like the thing is, we don't want to have any regrets, right? Whatever we end up getting.
It's too
True.
late. It's too late. We're at an age there's no regrets anymore.
This is true.
That's true.
Where we don't what?
When we
No
have
regrets.
no regrets. At our age, there shouldn't be any
Do
regrets.
you guys have known me for how many years? Do I regret anything? Yeah. But I think there's a good segue into like chaos that can potentially happen at a wedding, that has happened on a wedding day. We've shared so many stories
Oh, boy.
Yes.
on this podcast already, and you don't have to leave any names or anything like that.
Like the DJ almost fist fighting with the band.
Was that live? Was the mic hot when we told that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Phil, what are your stories?
So I want to write a book one day.
That would be awesome.
You should.
Yeah, or maybe like a bunch of us get together and share our stories.
All our stories.
Excerpts.
Yeah, they really range. It's some of the stuff is wild, but I'm trying to keep it
Anything
PG.
violence? How about any violence? Anything inappropriate behavior? Violence?
Calling of the authorities.
Anything
Cops have shown
salacious?
up to a wedding, yes,
Yeah.
but it was
Man.
diffused. The bride and groom didn't even know they came,
Oh,
so
wow.
I love
Shit.
that. Yeah, that's how we like to handle things. Yeah, there's been disputes. There's been a father left a wedding because the bride had to like cut him off. The speech was going for way too long. And I'm talking at least 20. I wasn't timing it. I should have, but maybe 20 minutes.
Oh
Oh,
my
that wasn't
god.
too bad.
Yeah, she was
That's
just
long.
That's
though.
long.
That
She
is
was
long, but
over
it's
it.
not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was over it. I don't think he liked that reaction, in front of all the guests. But he did leave.
Did they cut his mic?
Eventually, I think they started playing the background music. I'm not 100%
The
sure.
mariachi band.
Yeah, we had something
Yeah.
similar where the groom's brother had already thrown up in the bridal suite. And the
Oh.
planner said, we're not going to let him talk. He's
Right.
trashed.
She told him
Right.
he's not talking.
He's not talking. Somehow he got to talk. And he went on, he started saying things about the bride.
Was this
She
the
doesn't
one where
want
he was running
me
around the
here.
room and they were
So
chasing him?
running
my
around with the
God.
mic, and the DJ just for some reason he just didn't think to just cut the mic, and then he had to chase him for his microphone.
Can you remember? Hey, and by the way,
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Oh,
he was like,
my
I'm gonna
God.
finish. I'm gonna finish.
I'm running around the reception.
Yeah,
I'm not finished.
and they're all grabbing him, and he doesn't.
The planner was just like, I told him not to do it. This is it. This
Right.
is what
we
it
can
is.
only do so much. So.
Yeah. I thought-
I've had a rental company not show up. They were bringing furniture. Yes. Luckily, the venue had, whatever they needed, but it was still disappointing because obviously the vision
No
didn't
show.
come together.
Together, yeah.
But I think they were just a front. And again, this bride had found this company off Google. They were from PA somewhere. They made an excuse that they got into an accident. We were never sent a police report, nothing. No photos, police report, nothing. So I think it was just a front. But luckily,
Sounds like a front.
I guided her after, and she was able to get all her money back
Yeah.
from her credit card company, which was great. But obviously, she didn't have certain furniture that she wanted on the day of her wedding.
have you guys ever had wardrobe malfunctions at a wedding?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
This past December,
Oh yeah.
the bride couldn't zip up the dress.
Oh,
Oh no.
They had to
Not at
sew
all.
her in.
Her mom had to sew her in.
Yeah.
wow.
So it
Yeah.
delayed everything. Mom was there with
That's
thread and
intense.
How
needles.
about you, Kelly?
Wardrobe, we do, but we come with an emergency kit, which I have
Sure.
found helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So whether we've had to sew pants together or like a button popped off the bride's dress, we have extra buttons too.
Yeah.
If I'm ever in a pickle, I do call Veronica from Vesta Brides, and I'm like, how do I do this? Or like, what should I do here? Do you have any advice? But for the most part, we've managed pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if your emergency kit would help if the men got a tuxedo rental from
Yep.
a nationwide chain,
Yes.
which shall not be named.
Yes.
And one sleeve's here and the other sleeve's like down here on the other arm and stuff. I'm like, how did this leave the
Right.
factory?
Yeah.
No, and I'm like, did you not try this?
Warehouse.
Did you not try this on?
All right, you got to cut that out, but yes, you were right.
Yes. Oh, are they sponsors? No.
Oh, we can say their name. Why not? They don't listen to this.
Yeah, we can say it. Like,
But yes, you're correct.
So during the I think it was 21 or 22 when we were like so crazy with weddings, we've had the sole of a groom's shoe fall apart, like
What?
detached from the shoe. So we did have to run to a warehouse store and grab new shoes. But that's why there's two of us, because I have an assistant and they can go out.
Go
if
and do
something
those
happens.
things, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had a wardrobe malfunction once too.
Wow.
This is slightly unrelated to the story. Well, some are related, right? I was doing details. I don't know if I shared this story with you guys, right? And this was during my phase where I was wearing really tight suit pants and stuff. I don't do that anymore. You guys see my reels, right? But
Yes.
in any case, I bent over to do the detail shot of the rings and stuff. And all of a sudden, I feel a lot of air coming up.
that happened to me.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt the back. I was like, oh my God, it's open, right? And luckily, there was a Joseph A. Banks around the corner.
Oh, good.
And I just took the first pair of pants. And they're like, oh, sir, we can tailor this. We'll have it ready for you by like 2. I was like, no, I need it now. Right?
Wow.
My ass is showing you now.
So thankfully, I had a second shooter. I was back in action within 30 minutes. Right?
Yep.
But I was like,
I had to drive home.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I had red briefs on too, so I was like, no.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, no, I have to leave. Shut the first dance alone.
oh, no. But now, you know what I do now? I have a spare set of
Yes.
clothes in the car.
Yes.
I started buying flexible pads that don't that stretch.
Yeah.
Breathable.
I never had
Yeah.
that problem again.
But because I don't know if you know this about me, I have a tendency to be very clumsy around bodies of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have spare clothes in all my cars
That's
just in
good.
case.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
So when you have to facilitate like these, like when something goes wrong with a vendor
Yeah.
after the wedding,
With the vendor?
yeah, like do you maintain stay on to facilitate these things? Like if
Yes.
the
I will.
renter company
Just-
didn't show up. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I care a lot. So I'm always going above and beyond. It's just part of my personality. I don't know if it's the people pleasing in me or what, but I try to help out as much as I can. So whether it's helping write an email or, jumping on a call, just talk about what happened, things like that. But yeah, I will definitely help
Because you're
out.
basically like the main witness at that point.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the craziest things, we all know that this incident that happened with a venue that should not be named caught on fire
Oof.
like 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Has it been 2
So
years?
our friend was the planner.
Yes.
Oh, no.
She had to replan a whole wedding again.
Yeah.
She had
Oh,
to
wow.
facilitate between the venue and the vendors, redoing
So they
the
did do
contracts.
a new wedding.
Yeah,
They
paid for
redid
everything.
the whole thing a year later.
Same
paid.
venue?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
venue paid for everything and
Wow.
up front before the insurance even paid out.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's
Wow.
awesome.
But the one thing that they were very adamant was they didn't want to pay for stuff that wasn't delivered at the time. So for example, as a photographer, they had an album, right? Your collection includes that album. I'm not paying for that because
Right.
you never delivered an album, right? So each vendor had to submit an itemized claim to the venue.
So the venue paid the
Oh, yeah.
vendors.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really nice.
That
That's
is
the right thing to do.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do.
But her as a planner had to facilitate for everybody.
Yeah. But
Replan a
That's
wedding,
Well, she's doing it twice, so
she's doing it twice. Yeah.
So
She paid
was she paid
twice?
twice?
yeah, she did.
She did, but it
But she said it wasn't
still
enough.
doesn't equal the
Yeah.
amount
Right.
of time that she put in.
I
Because
know.
now
There's extra work.
it's
There's
way
day of
extra work.
What also
Because you don't bill
happened-
into your original contract. I got to refacilitate
Right.
all these
So you
new
got to do
things.
the regular planning plus.
Plus negotiating with the
Right.
venue on,
Yeah.
facilitating.
What also happened that she mentioned was that's more time, more ideas.
Yes.
So now she's working even more because the bride had more ideas leading
Yes.
up to this new wedding now.
Yeah.
New fresh ideas.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she, you know, like it was a whole nother.
I was so devastated when I was watching that live
Oh my
because
god.
she was
Yeah.
posting live,
Mhm.
right?
my
Oh,
God.
that was the florist.
Someone was posting
Yeah,
live.
she was
and
posting live.
I
She was crying because she had
devastated.
just finished it. Like they had already had an elaborate display with florals. She had just
Wow.
set it up. She tried to salvage it so hard. Like
They had to remove all
they
that
had to
stuff.
remove all of it.
Mhm.
It was very.
It was
Anything on social media they had to take down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, we want to make sure that the clients are happy. You
Mhm.
know, we just want to make sure everyone's happy. We're in the service industry, and Karis and
Yeah.
I, we understand that. You know, like we might have different tools that we use to do our
Mhm.
jobs, right? But at the end of the day, we're there to serve the clients and make them happy.
Mhm.
I think it's about doing the right thing too. Like in that case, the venue
Yep.
did the
Mhm.
right thing.
Correct.
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
Big ups. Do we give him a shout out? I think everyone knows who it is. But
We're not, it's an incident that should not be talked about, so we won't name them.
it was all over the news. But yeah, good on them. But also the other thing is like, as you know, Karis attracts a certain profile. I attract a certain profile.
Yes.
My profile usually they don't get married there. There's nothing wrong with the venue. It's just that my client profile they usually go somewhere else to get married.
Yeah.
It's not your clientele. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to be there a lot, and then it just kind of just dropped off a little
Yeah,
bit.
we stopped showing it. So any other juicy stories besides a vendor not showing up, like vendors fighting between each other?
Besides that one fight where the cops came in, but they diffused the situation. I think it was between Photo and the DJ.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah.
Hold on, DJ. What's that got to do with? Is it the lighting? Yo, your light.
You
Fried
know
my
what?
sensor.
Maybe.
There's been some DJs where I'm not gonna say we came close to blows,
Brawling.
but if something happens to them, I'll just keep walking. Like some entertainment companies are very hard to deal with. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that a photographer's about to fight a DJ.
Yeah. Don't just have a regular fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a. Have it this kind of fight.
Yeah.
I actually love working with them.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Do you
this will be
do you
edited out.
have? Well, you don't have to say names, but do you have like vendors and venues that you like blacklist?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes.
Ooh.
I think it's a must,
Oh,
honestly.
yeah.
It's very like energy draining and you know, sometimes you got to go through a lot of hoops with certain venues or you don't feel welcome there. There's just
Yeah.
a lot. You know, we see everything. We
You
see.
only have so many weekends you can work
Yes.
a year, so this is prime real estate for you. You don't want to waste a whole day just working with someone who's going to just drain all that energy out of you.
Right, correct. Yep. And who's going to make everyone's life difficult? It's just not necessary. It's just not. So, yeah, we have lists
I
of
have a list. You guys maintain a
vendors
list?
We do.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it off record.
But is it just venues or all the vendors too?
Other vendors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's mainly videographers, to be honest.
But at that point, we
venues.
can't blacklist them. It's
No,
easier to
it's
blacklist
impossible.
a venue
Right.
when someone inquires and say, I'm getting married here, and I'm like, I'm not available.
But there's a few selected videographers that we worked with that we will never want to work with again. If it happens, it
It is what it is.
Yeah,
But they're not
we'll
like on
make
my
it work,
they're
you
on,
know?
on my recommended
But I'll also come more mentally prepared. For
Right.
It, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
same thing with DJs and stuff. Like if you hire certain vendors and stuff, I'm just mentally prepared that I'm gonna have to work around them or whatever it is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I think venues are the biggest ones. So, like, if
Yeah.
I see that inquiry come through,
Yeah.
like you
Goodbye.
said, nope.
Mhm.
I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
Unavailable.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, I refer
it's
it to
sad.
my friends Molinas and the Cruises
It's-
when I see it come in.
It's sad too. But
It is. And it doesn't matter. You can pay me triple. I'm still not
Yeah.
going there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
venues are very mean, but you know, whatever. It's
Yeah.
their business.
It's
They
their-
they do whatever they want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, last thing.
Mhm.
Any quick planning tips for if we have any bridal listeners or any groom listening? Just your biggest planning tip for someone getting married.
Hire planner. But
Perfect.
no,
Love
but
it.
seriously.
It's true though.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Hire a planner, or at the minimum, I always say this: a coordinator, because it's good to have some help, even if it's at the end, than having absolutely no help. throughout the entire process,
Yeah.
right? But I know it's, there's a lot of different factors, right? You get your mom's opinion. I'll help plan the wedding. No, I got this. Or the maid of honor is going to help. It is an investment, but it pays itself. It's worth it, and I'm just not saying hire me. I'm just saying hire a good planner, someone who's always going to have your back throughout this entire process. And also like, transparency, someone who's honest with you, who's going to keep it real with you. There's a lot of planners now who just plan their wedding and all of a sudden they're wedding planners. We see that a lot.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean,
That is true.
they're going to offer you a better deal, but they don't know the market, as well as an experienced planner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. all the
We
time.
had one bride and she tried it. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's not for a lot of people.
But she also didn't take on any weddings as like a primary. She was helping another planning company. And
a good
when we
start.
saw her again, she was like, yeah, it wasn't for me. She's, I think I was just like in this high of my wedding. And
Yeah, she
Planning
might
your
let
own
it
wedding
go.
and planning someone else's wedding is
Yeah.
Very
totally
different.
Yeah.
she
Right.
said she had no idea like what it was going to be. And it's not
Oh,
for
you
her.
know what? I have a question for you, and we ask this for all our guests, right? When was your first wedding that you did
My first wedding that I did, I think
as the lead planner?
Yep. Was about it was an Indian wedding actually. It's a very large wedding.
Girl.
As your first
You
one?
Yes.
just jumped right in.
I
Oh my
jumped.
gosh.
That's how I am though with most things.
Was it 600?
Sink or
600
swim.
plus?
300 to 400 maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's still a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about
Yes.
right. Yeah.
That's double.
But I was very involved. I definitely did more than I had to, but that's because I wanted to gain the experience.
Sure.
And I think I got the booking through Fiverr or
Fiverr.
Thumbtack. It was
Girl, how much
Tag,
were you
yeah.
paid?
yeah, it was a different
So how much did you
site.
charge for that one?
Less than $1,000 to coordinate, not to plan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it
But
was.
still a little for coordination too, no?
That's
Ye-
about 15 Moses cruises.
How many hours? You were there all day, forever, huh?
No, we limit our time. I don't remember how many hours I was there for.
Minimum 12 to 15 probably, right?
So we maxed out at 12. We don't usually supersede that.
Okay.
good.
A good average though for us is 10 to 12. So I was probably there 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multi-day?
No, we just did one day for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was awesome. Great couple.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to ask, how did it go?
Yeah,
You
it
answered
went
that.
it went really well. Sure, I didn't nail everything because it was my first time,
Mhm.
but it was a great experience. Yeah. Mhm.
Did you have your business established already, or you were just trying to, some of us start as I don't want to say hobby, but more of a side thing?
Yeah, I was still doing it very part time, only taking a few weddings a year. But I didn't start off working with anybody. I just started off on my own.
Yeah.
I
Like all of us, we just
Yeah.
went head
Yeah.
first.
Mm-hmm.
I
think-
try to work with someone.
They
They said,
let you in.
no, they let me in.
Yeah.
not for me.
You know what? That's a good. Well, now that you just spoke about that, how is the wedding planner community? Are they? Do they welcome you with open arms? Do they share knowledge? I feel like the photographer community has come a long way, and we try to help as much as we can, opposed to how it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have no guidance. We didn't have
Yeah,
a
so is there a lot of
mentor.
gatekeeping in your community?
Yes. I do respect the photography community and the DJs because I feel like they do have a pretty decent community where they get together or they go to these conferences and or they go out to dinner. It's so nice to see that they have each other's back because if something were to happen, because we have our
Things happen.
personal lives too,
Right.
right? That you can rely on somebody else or something major happens, you can go to them for advice. But the planner community is definitely a little bit different. It is competitive for sure.
Yeah.
Especially that more and more people now are becoming planners or coordinators because they're, they plan their wedding or they're learning on TikTok. They, they want to test this out. So it's hard. I have a select few that I do trust and I could rely on, but not many. And
Wow.
we used to try and get together, but it's been a while now since we've all connected. Yeah.
I've heard that from
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
few planners.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
I should have a
to be
planner
honest,
come to the Focus Day of
and that-
Summit. What do you think?
What?
Have a planner come to the Focus Day of Summit. What do you
Should.
think?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we can learn from,
Some planners.
well, not just planners, anyone outside of photography that's in the wedding industry. Everyone does things differently, but it's good to see what others do.
I think would be
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
I mean, we had a
We had Stationer.
Yeah. I saw
and
that.
everyone loved her, what her message was. because at the end of the day, we're all in sales too, right? We all have to figure out how to sell our service.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's, and for me, that was the hardest part in the beginning, that and networking. I didn't really go as strong as I should have. I feel like I would be much further along, but I'm very
Same
hard on
here.
myself. But, I pushed that to anyone looking for advice. I taught a master class last year. That was great. I hope to do it again.
Nice.
But to network and to, build, allies, try and build community as much as you can. And also, for me, I'm selling an experience. So I try not to just focus too much on the wedding day itself, but the entire experience. Yeah.
What did you teach your master class on?
Becoming a planner and coordinator in this industry. Yeah. It was a great one-day event. I hope to do it again. But, I feel like I wish I had that when I started off, because I would have attended a class like that.
What was the conference we went to in Vegas?
Wedding MBA. I was just going to plug that.
I did go to that
Okay.
a few years ago. I didn't learn anything, to be honest with you. So
I made some connections
Yeah,
that's good.
We went for the first time, and like
a year ago.
we were like shocked at how many planners, venue owners, and entertainment companies were there.
'Cause
A
I
lot
thought,
of
you know what? I
people.
always thought that venue owners were just like raking in the dough, right? They didn't really start, because there's only a fixed number
Because
of
here
venues.
you don't really see the venue owners like contributing
Yeah, it's
or attending networking events.
right. But I was like, oh my God, these venue owners, they're learning just as like we are, because they're
Yes.
business owners as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're, and I didn't learn that much from these things. But the
No.
thing is, even if you gain a little bit of something, like a
Yeah.
little ounce of something, it's
Something
worth
at
the trip.
home.
Are there any conferences for planners?
I did go to the wedding MBA. Yeah. And then there's a New York one, which I haven't attended.
Was that WIPA?
No, it's called like New York Wedding Planner Expo or something like that.
okay,
There's a
okay.
lot of speakers. Yeah.
I feel like the not any like event they do is they always have a lot of planners lineups.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very lucky
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
photo industry. We got a lot of stuff that we have.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little too much, sometimes, but.
We're at conference
I
every
gotta
other week.
I gotta go to a conference every.
I think it's helpful, right?
is.
It's
Yeah.
continuing education. So I would love to find more. I haven't been to like an Engage Summit. I would love to go one day.
So expensive.
It is very
expensive.
expensive. And it always sells out like before,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. Like if I was like we were doing this solo, but to pay for two of us,
We gotta
it's
do
like-
two. You
It
gotta
was
do
like
two.
$11,000 for the two of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying
Wait,
it's not
wait,
worth
it's only
it,
$5
but
grand for per person.
5,500.
Oh,
The one in
okay.
PA that's happening right now is 5,500 a person.
But that
Okay.
doesn't
that's-
include the
that's-
stay, right?
No, it doesn't include the stay,
Right.
and that's local. So I wouldn't really have to but if I go to one that's far away, then I have to
Stay.
airfare, then their hotel,
and then
500.
wardrobe.
and then wardrobe because every day is an
Yes.
event
Or make right for us. It's a lot.
a whole big thing.
But I do hear you make great connections.
Connections,
there.
that's what everybody
I do
says.
hear that.
Mhm.
One day
One day.
One day.
when this podcast
After-
becomes monetized.
Yeah.
After that, and I'm done paying tuition.
Yes, then that'll be you and Karis' tuition. She's dying to go to Engage. Poor Karis. She wants to go so bad.
She can go without me. Well, yeah, she can go without me.
She's ready to pull out like her whole wardrobe to go to these things.
Yeah, we have tuition to
that.
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the thing. All right,
Love
what else?
that's it.
Yeah. That's it.
Anything else you want to share with listeners about weddings?
Any
planning?
topics that are like dear to you that you want to discuss, or something that we should know as an industry?
I don't know. I guess something that I always tried to like push is education, right? Educating the clients, managing expectations, the budget. It's a tough conversation sometimes, but, having a good budget and managing that from the beginning is super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where can listeners find you?
On Instagram, we are Gifted Events NJ. On TikTok, New Jersey Wedding Planner. Yeah, I'd love to be more active there, but definitely check that
That
out.
one's tough.
Yeah.
It's a struggle bus.
Yes.
All right, I think that's all we got, huh?
Yeah, we can close.
We can wrap it up.
You want to close?
No.
All right.
Well, first of all, thank you, Kelly, for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank
We
you,
appreciate
thank you, thank
it.
you.
We learned a
Coming
lot.
down.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
and
was good to have a
sharing
planner
your
perspective.
afternoon with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I'll make cocktails for you next time if you're into that sort of thing.
Mocktails for me. Yes.
No problem. Yeah, I make some killer mocktails.
Mhm.
Love that.
But thank you so much for hanging out with us today. So for those of you guys who like to check out our blooper reels and our behind the scenes and highlights, you can find those on Instagram at focus.af. And if you have any stories you'd like to share, or if you'd like to nominate someone to be on the show, you can send that over at hello@focused-af.com. So on that note, are you guys focused AF?
I
You
am.
are.
Yeah, today I am for sure. I didn't drink a drop of alcohol today, guys.
You didn't have a beer? Oh.
No, I had nothing. I had coffee all day. I drank enough alcohol last week to
You sure did.
stun an elephant.
You can be
okay?
sober for a month. You're good. All right.
Also, we are on YouTube now. We're still uploading the past episodes, but we're getting there. We're almost caught up.
Yes.
So you can find us on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
And rock and roll, guys.
All
So
right.
that's pretty much it, right?
Yes.
All
All
right.
right. Have a good one.
Adios.
Bye.
See you next
Adios.
one. Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams Ben and Karis.
And Jenn Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you focused AF?
I am Focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.